It was always the Jags. It's always the Jags. It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
So welcome into Always the Jags. Of course, today we have to discuss our loss to the Packers. It's still hard to say it out loud. Our loss to the Packers at home last Sunday. So again, apologize. I got to get these out, closer to when the game actually happens and when the game's actually over. It can just be hard to recover when you lose a game that terribly. A game where you had multiple opportunities to come in, take the win, and seal it away. And it's like you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, we battled throughout the entire game, and more like it almost felt like a game of evenly matched teams just kind of going back and forth until one team, the truly better team, was able to put it away in the Packers. And like if that had been our season, like if we had beaten the Dolphins, beaten the Browns, a loss against the Packers, it wouldn't feel so bad. It wouldn't sting because we weren't hanging it all in one season. And we'd actually be pretty encouraged by this performance and be like, wow, we can really hang with them, hang with the best of them. But we can't, this performance has proved it's like, again, good teams will find a way to win and bad teams find a way to lose, no matter who the opponent is. Again, the Miami game, while that was a great play by Javon Holland, we allowed all the momentum to go to Miami, and we couldn't find a way to get even a little bit back. So that way we could, if we had scored 3 points at any point, because the game was 20-17. If we had scored 3 points anywhere, 3 more points, or another touchdown, or gotten a defensive stop, or protected Trevor better, any of that, we could have won that game. Browns, it was a penalty that took away a touchdown that would have given us the lead that could have changed the entire dynamic of the game. Now, we should have been able to go get another touchdown even after that penalty. That shouldn't have been, we ended up having to settle for 3 there, which we shouldn't have had to do. But again, finding ways to lose. The Bills game, there's nothing we could have done there. Texans game, Trevor missed 2 touchdowns, 2 wide open touchdowns. We could have beaten them by 14 potentially. Found a way to lose. When we had a chance to go stop the Texans on their game-winning drive, we couldn't do it. Found a way to lose. We did the same thing and then it's kind of the same story here. I mean, against the Bears, there's a few plays that if they went a different way, we could have, recovered and maybe battled back. But against the Packers, this game ultimately, it's like Trevor didn't have his best game, and neither did the defense. But whenever each side needed each other the most, they didn't show up. And it's like, I want to give more credit to Trevor because with his top 3 receivers down, he led one of the most impressive drives I've ever seen in his career. And if that had been the game-tying drive and we ended up winning that game, that would probably be one of the best drives of his career because missing Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk, and Gabe Davis, Trevor went down the field absolutely dealing to Parker Washington, to Brenton Strange, and to Evan Ingram. He made those guys look like Pro Bowlers on that drive, putting the ball exactly where he needed to. He had some very close throws that looked like they could have been picked that ended up being caught, like in some very tight windows. And that's the kind of thing, like if Trevor, gets better at that, like throwing into extremely tight windows, those are the things that those upper echelon QBs of old, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, they were masters at. They could put it and make it look like you could have got the pick, but really there's only one spot for the receiver to get it, and that's where he gets it. That's that tight window throw. So overall, it's hugely frustrating for Jaguars fans because especially I think the frustrating part is not necessarily the fact that we lost to the Packers because the Packers are a good team. The frustrating part is that we had an advantage that we couldn't we had an advantage that we couldn't take advantage of. Like in the first half, we saw how Jordan Love tweaked his ankle. So he's not very mobile. He still led, like, got 17 points off of 1 foot. He's playing on 1 foot. And yeah, their offensive line is good, but they're not that good. Like that was the time to bring pressure, get blitzes, get home with four guys, play a lot of coverage. He beat us while he was on 1 foot. And that's the point. Like that's an advantage that we got that we weren't able to take advantage of. And then when Malik Willis came into the game, to me the most backbreaking part, well, I guess we'll go by like this one is more like game by game sequence, more like go through the actual game and how it went. So to me, one of the worst moments was when because the defense wasn't it was playing okay, right? Like it was allowing the Packers to kind of move up and down. They're playing a lot of bend but don't break. But of course, the best play was Jerry and Jones made a fantastic pick off of Jordan Love. And I kind of criticized that pick a lot of Jerry and Jones, because I would have preferred to bring in a guy like L'Jarius Sneed. And I don't necessarily think that I'm wrong. Like I still think Sneed should be on this team paired up with Tyson Campbell. Um, but I do think we'd be way better if we had Sneed instead of Darby. Um, but I will say Jerry and Jones is starting to come on. And that interception was dynamite. That interception was absolutely glorious. Um, but then Trevor gave the ball right back to the Packers. And I don't know if it was the wrong route that someone was running or something like that, but that's an interception. And he didn't look open on the field. So that's on Trevor. This wasn't like he threw the ball while the receiver was because like on a couple of games ago with the Browns, you could tell that Calvin Ridley was running the wrong route because his back was to the ball when Trevor let go of the ball because Calvin Ridley was supposed to stop in that spot. The receiver noticed that Calvin Ridley wasn't stopping, so he just waited. The cornerback noticed Calvin Ridley wasn't stopping, so he just waited to catch the interception. That was on Calvin Ridley. He ran the wrong route. So, because the Trevor's going to put the ball in the air before you turn around. In this case, it didn't really look like that. There were three green jerseys and only two Jaguars jerseys. Um, and I don't know if he was throwing to Kirk or to Brian Thomas Jr. It was really hard to tell, but it was just a bad throw. It was a bad throw. Um, in that case, because again, it's like it's always better to take the points. It's always better like if you can't. Turnovers are way worse than punts. It's just the only way to put it. Way better to punt the ball, flip the field, because there's a couple of times where we had some excellent punting where we gained a net of 25 yards. It was like hitting a 25-yard play because Logan Cook punted the ball so well. Like, we don't want to use him, but we've got a good punter. So it is better than a turnover. That's the whole point. So we ended up turning the ball over. And again, that was an example of where the defense stepped up, did something, and Trevor Lawrence ended up letting them down. But to me, the most back-breaking drive that made it feel like, like this is our we're not going to win this season. Like we are, like the rest, like everything's going to be a struggle, is when after the Jaguars were able to go and take the lead, which was huge against a team like the Packers. I thought they were going to kind of lead all game and we would fight and then they would just kind of coast to the victory. But we took the lead. If the game ends in the third quarter, we win. Like we took the lead. The most back-breaking drive. We have the lead. Jordan Love is out. Malik Willis is coming in. Okay, now our defense should be able to tee off and just go off and get us the ball back and let us salt away this victory, right? Like it feels like everything, the momentum is moving in our favor. Packers put in their backup quarterback with Josh Jacobs, and he runs all over our team. Runs all over down, not just for 3 points. He runs all the way down to get 7, and the Packers take the lead again. That was the backbreaking moment. Because I think the score was 17-13, Jaguars up, right? And the defense, all you need is a stop. If you can hold them to 3, that's not preferred, but we still have the lead, right? We still have a chance to to really clamp onto this game. But holding them to three would have been far more preferred. But they went run, 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 pass, run, 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 and just ran. And that's literally been the only thing that our defense has done well all season is stop the run. And they just ran right down our throats over and over and over again. So not only did it kill a lot of clock, which as the team that's behind, you usually don't want to do, but it killed a lot of clock, and they knew that they could just run it because those like we weren't stopping Josh Jacobs at all. He was picking up 4 or 5 a clip. You got to stop him in the backfield. And I don't know what happened to our run defense. I don't know if Ryan Nielsen was subbing guys out and something didn't make sense. That was the play to me that was the drive I think that lost the game to me because that was the moment where all the chips were in our favor. Yeah, Malik Willis hasn't been playing bad in Matt LaFleur's system. It's definitely a sign that Matt LaFleur knows what to do with the quarterback, but we had everything in our favor. Every single thing in our favor in that moment, and we couldn't get it done. And that's the part that makes you be like, I almost feel like we didn't deserve to win this game even after. Now, again, then we got the ball back. Trevor had a back-breaking fumble. And that's an example of, Trevor kind of letting down the whole team because that was a bad fumble. You can't hold the ball out like that. Um, but again, to me, all of that happens, all of that set up because you just let the Packers run all over you. It'd be different if it was like a freak play to Jaden Reed where he got open or something, or I don't even know. But it's just to have the ball ran down your throats for an entire team. I felt like that just sapped our momentum and took away all of our morale. Because I feel like Trevor doesn't start like in that moment where he fumbles, you could tell that he's pressing. And when he's pressing, he's not good. When he's pressing is when he's trying to make a play, when he feels like he's got to put the team on his back. And that's like the difference is like elite quarterbacks will turn in the kind of drive that Trevor did at the end of the game in that moment. Because like you can't really say that he wasn't pressing on that last drive because he did know that he did know that he had to go down and get a touchdown, but he just did it and it was effortless and he looked so in control. And I'm like, I don't know how we get to a point where we have that, Trevor. Do we need to just play 2 tight end sets? Because if that's the case, then let's just do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's because we had Brenton Strange and Evan Ingram on the field for almost the whole time. I don't know if those big body guys work better, but if they do it. 2 tight end sets, one running back, 2 wide receivers. That's fine. Keep them on the field. Whatever it takes to make Trevor look like that, because that was it wasn't just incredible because they went down and were able to get 6. If you look at the throws he was making, they had such pinpoint accuracy. And I don't even know how often they ran the ball, but he looked so in control of the offense. And it's like that's the Trevor Lawrence that we all want and believe that he is. And again, he had some great drives throughout this game, but nothing looked as good as that one. Because I think on that one, I don't even know if we had to convert a third down. I can't remember, but he was dealing. Like that's the kind that's exactly what you want. The defense had no answers for him, and Doug Pederson has to find like it's Doug Pederson's job to get that out of him every single drive. That's what coaches do. So again, I don't really know how we move forward. I don't know how we beat the Eagles this week. Like, I'd love to go into details, but they are better than the Packers. It's just that simple. And we had an opportunity to snatch one and keep our playoff hopes alive. Like, I think if we had one, maybe the people are talking about Marshawn Lattimore might be available. I mean, Balky could have made a move and got Marshawn Lattimore. And if we got him, I mean, our secondary be a lot better. If he's on the field, I mean, I don't know if Jaden Reed still. I think our problem is kind of more in our safeties because, again, the real backbreaking play was after Trevor went down the field and got us that touchdown. Malik Willis didn't even look worried. He's a back quarterback in his like 3rd year, and he just calmly hits a 50-yard bomb to Jaden Reed after the coverage completely left him wide open. And I don't know if that's Ryan Nielsen's fault. I don't know if that's Andre Cisco's fault, but no player should be that wide open in the NFL in professional football. It was a good route. It was a great play call. But like to me, that's that play that lost us the game. That's where jobs are going to get lost. Either Andre Cisco might end up losing his starting spot, which is sad because I vouched for him. I wanted us to draft him when he first came out, and that was a I don't know if he was the guy that didn't make that play or whatever it was, but that was terrible. And I don't know if it was Ryan Nielsen just getting out schemed. And if you get out schemed, then the next guy comes in, you know? So yeah, we'll have to see. That play should have never happened. I mean, the Packers had to go down and get three, and that's exactly what they did. And they were able to run the clock and inflict their will in Jaguars home. Again, before the season, I didn't expect us to win this game, but with the way the season has gone, we needed to in order to move on, in order to have any semblance of a playoff hope. Because now the Jets are looking a lot better. They just beat the Texans. We still got them on our schedule. And let's not forget, the Lions dropped 52 on the Titans. Titans aren't a good team, but we're not playing like a good team either. So, and we still got the Lions, and then we still got the Vikings. So, kind of feels like dark days for Jaguars fans, but I mean, at least we're used to this. I don't really know. Um, But on a brighter note, make sure that you get your tickets for Tailgate to Tony. I'll try to drop a link in the description so that way you guys can all see it. It's going to be a great event. If you want an autographed Tony Baselli hat, which is where I got this one from that I wear in all the episodes, make sure you head down. Fred Taylor's going to be there. Asher Grodman, the actor from Ghost, is going to be there. And just a fun time. Live music, talk to other Jaguars fans, get ready for the game. That one before the season, I definitely thought was going to be a layup. Now, we will be fortunate. I don't know. I mean, the Vikings don't look as after they lost to the Rams, they don't look quite as like shiny as they did before. Um, but still, it's a tall task. So the best thing that we can do is show up, and the best thing that we can do is show up after a wonderful tailgate with Tony. And the food there was delicious. Like they didn't really talk about the food that much when you get the tickets, but food is great. Like you won't even need to eat in the stadium because they provide food and like fill you up. So make sure you get those tickets. And all the proceeds go to a great cause for the Baselli Foundation and just get a chance to hang out with a Jaguars legend. I mean, so also let me know your thoughts about the Packers game. Do you think the Jaguars have a chance to snatch one from the Eagles? And how do you think the rest of the season's going to go? If Doug Peterson's going to make it to the end of the season, is Ryan Nielsen, is Press Taylor? I heard a rumor that Doug was fired from the Eagles because he didn't want to let Press Taylor go. And I'm like, I kind of find it hard to believe because I remember there was a lot of stuff going on when he got fired from the Eagles. So I feel like the fact that he wanted Press Taylor to stay isn't the issue here. Um, all I can say about Press Taylor is the best offensive coaches innovate. So as in, and the best offensive coordinators innovate. So you don't go in with your same plays every single year because teams are going to start to figure them out because they'll be on film. So the best offensive coordinators, so like no matter how good of an offensive coordinator you are, every year you have to come up with something new, something different to make to switch up your plays. It's something that still keeps your quarterback comfortable. Just the way that it works. Because if you don't do that, defenses are going to figure out what you like to do. So and that's what it seems like we're at with Press Taylor. It seems like he, called some great games, had some good success in 2022, and just kind of wants to run it back with the same stuff that he did before without making any kind of improvements. That's not a good offensive coordinator. That's not what good ones do because if everyone's going to figure out what you do, teams, that's how they do it. A player plays really well, then they get tape on them, then they realize, oh, he likes to do this. Okay, and then that's it. So if he's not willing to do that, then that means he's not a good coordinator. It's just that simple. Like, I'm not trying to take away from all the success that he's had because I feel like a lot of Jaguars fans are like, he sucks now. And it's like, okay, he's had some great success when he called plays in the second half of 2022 and we were starting to win and it was feeling great. He's done some good things, right? But as in like the good offensive coordinators, they keep renovating, they keep changing, even if it means going back to old stuff that you did way before and bringing that in. You got to keep doing it because no one's going to sit there and just let you do whatever you want. They're going to try to figure you out and they're going to try to stop it. So, anyway, I say all that to say I wouldn't be mad if Brian Nielsen and Press Taylor are gone after the season. 'Cause we just need people who aren't afraid to change up when they realize something's not working. Like with Ryan Nielsen and the hockey changing of players in and out of every lineup. It's not working. And he looks like he's not going to change it. So let us know your thoughts. Again, like I said, tailgate with Tony coming up. And it might be dark, but never forget, it was always the Jags.